Welcome to Unfrazzle, a podcast for solo business owners with a big vision who are ready for a kinder, more sustainable approach to productivity. I'm Louise Miller, and each week I share bite-sized insights to help you step away from the hustle, stop faffing and stay focused so you can make your brilliant ideas happen and make a bigger impact in the world. So grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. The festive season is almost here and there are just a few weeks left of the year, which means there's a good chance you might be running around like a headless chicken trying to get all of the things done. And not just all the things that need doing in your business, but all the things that need doing at home too. It's exhausting, isn't it? So today on Unfrazzle, I propose a time out. So you've heard me talk about the importance of the pause a million times, and it's particularly powerful when you use that pause to reflect and make choices that will help you find more ease when you start back up again. And that's what I want to walk you through today. I want for you to enjoy these last few weeks of the year. So let's take a pause together to think about what actually needs to get done between now and the end of December and how you might navigate that with a little more intention and ease. So I'm going to share with you a few different approaches that will help to give you that clarity. So depending on where you are and what you're up to right now, you can either hit pause and answer the questions as we go, or identify a time when you'll come back to them later. Grab your to-do list, find somewhere comfy to sit. I like to do this kind of thing away from my desk so that I'm not distracted and can bring a more kind of relaxed vibe to the party. If you're feeling extra specially festive, you might want to bring a cuppa and a mince pie. What I would encourage you to do though first, before we start, is just take a really lovely deep breath to get yourself settled. And once you've done that, let's look at that to-do list with a kind, creative and critical eye and see whether any of these approaches I'm about to share with you might help relieve some pressure for you. So the first suggestion is to let it go for now. So at the start of this quarter, I had every intention of researching podcasts and pitching to be a guest on a podcast every week. And that went really brilliantly for a while, but halfway through the quarter, it became obvious that it would be really tricky for me to keep going with that, whilst also promoting my purposeful planning workshop and opening the doors to Make It Happen Club for the final time this year. And when I realised that, did I leave podcast outreach on my to-do list and then feel like a stressed out failure every time I looked at it? No, I did not. I accepted that in saying yes to the promotion I'd chosen to do for the workshop and Make It Happen Club, I needed to say no to something else. And so I made a decision that it's okay to take my foot off the gas with the podcast outreach when I'm launching something, but I will make up for that by going all in again with that in January. So have a little think about that for yourself. Is there anything on your list that you know realistically, if you're really and truly honest with yourself, isn't going to happen right now? And then give yourself permission to let that thing go, just for now. And the second suggestion I want to share with you is called Not Ideal, but No Big Deal. So last year, due to a miscalculation on my part, Tom and I found ourselves in a situation where a few days before we needed to pack up the car and head down the M1 to deliver some gifts to my in-laws, none of those presents were wrapped. And the paper tape that I needed to wrap them hadn't arrived yet. So just for a bit of context, I go all out to make Christmas as sustainable as possible. I make my own wrapping paper out of brown packaging paper, which looks really lovely with the addition of some cinnamon sticks and a bit of rosemary from the garden. But the paper tape that I'd ordered online hadn't arrived yet, so I couldn't finish the wrapping. And I could feel myself getting really stressed. I had a full week ahead of me, didn't really have an opportunity to get out to where there's a shop that sells paper tape. Not many places sell it. And I didn't have very much space for last minute wrapping. So it dawned on me that what I could do is just take the unwrapped gifts with me and deal with it when I get there. Right? It's not ideal, but it really is no big deal. So I could easily just pop the presents in the car unwrapped and do some secret squirrel wrapping whilst we were away. Is there anything on your list that's not going according to plan, where in an ideal world you'd want it to happen a certain way, but it's now looking increasingly unlikely that that will happen? So what could you do to bring a bit of good enough or that'll do energy and acceptance to those things? Right, letting go of perfectionism can really feel like a weight lifted, particularly at this time of year when we've got so much on our plate. And I think for a lot of us, we have these standards that we set really high. And if we just lower those a little bit, really no one's going to notice. So what have you got that you could kind of apply this not ideal but no big deal sort of mentality to? And then the third approach I want to share with you, probably unsurprisingly for me, this is all about slowing things down. So one of my one-to-one clients wanted to launch a course this side of Christmas, but over the last few months, some unexpected things came up and other parts of her work required more time and energy than she'd anticipated. And yes, she could have chosen to burn the candle at both ends and really pushed herself to stick to the plan. But we both knew that if she did that, by the time Christmas arrived, she would be utterly exhausted and with no energy left to enjoy time with her family. So she made the tricky decision to slow things down and postpone the launch. So that doesn't mean that she's sitting back and doing nothing to move it forward. Far from it. She's creating the web page, sending out a few personal invitations. She's had some positive responses already. It just means that she's taking small baby steps in the right direction rather than pushing herself to take the really big leap that she'd originally planned. So is there anything you've got on your list that you just don't have the energy for? Could you slow things down a bit so that you're still moving forward, but you're doing that in a gentle, sustainable way, taking the pressure off yourself a little bit? So those are the 3 approaches I wanted to share with you that I hope will help you to create a little bit more breathing room for yourself over the coming week. But just to be clear, I am not for a moment suggesting that you should give up on the things you haven't yet achieved this year. This is all about identifying which tasks you're willing to loosen your grip on so that you can clear space for the things that matter most. And for those things, you can then go full steam ahead. So let's just think about that for a moment. What's the thing that you are absolutely determined to get done before the end of the year? That, now you've let go of some other things, feels doable and will leave you feeling really amazing once you've achieved it. Whatever that thing is for you, there are still a few weeks left of the year, so it is not too late. And now that you've created that space for yourself, you can roll up your Christmas jumper sleeves and get it done. So as always, I hope that this helps and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for listening to Unfrazzle. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who needs a dose of calm productivity in their life. And I'd love it if you could leave me a rating and a review, as that will help more people discover this podcast. If you'd like to hear more from me to help you stop faffing and take back control of your time, you'll find a link to join my mailing list in the show notes, and I would really love for you to join us. So thanks so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you next time.